Hey guys, welcome back. It is Vortie here, and unfortunately, as you guys can notice, there is no cam. As you guys probably know, I am in the process of moving. I started packing everything up, so I'm using my laptop to record my videos here. I was gonna try and just pack everything up really quickly and move everything over there as fast as possible, and hope that nothing would be announced that's gonna be worth covering while I'm moving, and just start from there, start fresh when I get in the house with the camera and the green screen and everything. But unfortunately, this morning we got hit with some crazy news, and I just wanted to make sure that I hit that up with you guys so that you guys know what's going on. Though most of you probably, when you logged in, you saw it. So I'm going to give you my 2 cents of Winsons on that and see exactly what's going on as far as how I feel about it. So right off the bat, just kind of scanning through this morning on my phone when I looked at it, I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, this banner that I'm going to be talking about right now is a complete trap. It's a trap for 2 different reasons. One, there's too many units of the same rankings on there, being the first main point. The second point I want to bring up to you guys is, with the introduction of CG units, is the same time, probably within like a banner or 2, we're gonna get a system called the step-up system. If I remember correctly, the step-up system was introduced with Sephiroth, if not like a couple of banners before Sephiroth, or not maybe a banner before him completely. The step-up system is going to be the best possible system that's going to be introduced here, actually introduced into Final Fantasy Brave Exvius for a long time to come, next to what I would probably think when they start letting you enhance items. But the reason I'm saying the step-up system is going to be very big for everyone and probably game-changing for a lot of people is because for 10,000 Lapis, you have a really high chance of getting at least a rainbow. It's not the guaranteed rainbow that you're thinking of, like, you're going to get a Sephiroth or you're going to get something. There's still a possibility that you're going to roll low numbers and you're just not going to get yourself that 5-star. However, it increases your chances by a lot, and as you're pulling, you're being rewarded for already using your Lapis, which you would use anyways. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of gonna be kind of game changing for you. You're gonna get something in return, and it's gonna feel pretty good, which is something I'm looking forward to. So if you're going to be saving for anything, that's gonna be your chance. And as you guys know, most of the characters you don't get, you will get them later on, as I'm doing the same thing for Cloud. I'm going to hope that I get him later on. It's just the way the game is designed. You're not going to get all the characters you want unless you're going to whale out. If you're going to whale out, then I wish you the best of luck that you do get it, so you don't, whale out too much. But those of you that are normal, that have set amount of Lapis they can spend, and just trying to play the game the best they can, the step-up system is going to be your savior. With that, I would probably say to completely avoid this banner. If you want to put a couple of tickets into it, go for it. There are no bonus units. None of these units you're going to be seeing here are limited. They're going to be in the pool forever. Alright, so with that said, let's jump in and talk about the banner that is coming out on Friday here. So here it is, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius banner. It is all Brave Exvius characters. As you can see right off the bat there's 2 5-star characters that go to 6-star here. It's going to be Glacial Lasswell, which is the Ice Knight Lasswell, like in the JP version, and then you have Jiraiya, who's a 5-star ninja. You have, I believe her name is pronounced Kadia. You know what, we're just going to call her the girl on the Chocobo. It's spelled Katie. That's the way it's spelled here, but I'm sure there's some sort of animated show or some sort of Japanese TV show that has the same name that probably pronounces it a little bit differently. So I don't want to sit there and butcher it too much. We're just going to call her the Chocobo Princess Girl, or Girl on a Chocobo, and just save us the agony of listening to Vortie trying to pronounce that stuff. Then looking at here, you got Otrigiri, you got Oga, and you got Miyuki. Miyuki's interesting because her awakening was given out this, well, it's going to be live tomorrow after the update, but nothing too special about her. She gets some elemental stuff like she has before. That's not been anything too crazy, so we're not going to talk about too much about her. Oga's pretty cool. Counter tank. Otrigiri is actually a very interesting unit. We'll talk about her as well. But yeah, so this is the banner we're going to be looking at. So let's jump into the first guy here. This is going to be our Ice Knight Lasswell, or as we call him on Glacial, as we call him on Glacial, blah, blah, blah. As we call him on Global, Glacial Lasswell, or for simplicity, which all of us are going to be calling him, is going to be CG Lasswell. He is a 5-star going to 6-star, sharing the spot with Jiraiya. High attack. As far as for this banner, everything else for his stats is pretty mediocre except his MP, which is alright. Looking at his Trust Mastery, it's called Azure Crimson Soul. It boosts your hit points and attack by 30% and your limit break gauge fill rate by whatever the crystal value is going to be. We're going to have to take a look at that once the actual update goes live tomorrow, but I'm just going to go right ahead and assume it's probably 2 limit burst crystals, as per most of the things like this. 2 limit burst crystals you're going to get on top of getting some good hit points and good attack, which is not bad. You might want your attackers to also survive, so having a mixture of attack and hit points is pretty good. Alright, looking at his abilities here, he's got some global upgrades. As you guys probably are aware, Lasswell, as well as I believe CG Jake, which I just recently got, was... they weren't very strong. Lasswell was okay at the beginning, but then he kind of just fell off the map, and when CG Jake came out, he was like literally crap from the beginning, so he didn't survive much. So I'm assuming that's what they're going to be doing with the CG characters, because those are our global, or sorry, our like main units for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. They want them to fit into meta, so they want them to actually kind of stand out for a lot longer, because you're going to be clearly in this banner investing a lot of money if you're trying to get them. So they had some upgrades here. You got Moonlight Fall, damage and reduce spirit for one enemy and restore own MP, and enable an attack called Fatal Bloom and Crimson Era. Okay, so those are going to be some of his bigger hitting moves. Looking at the next one here is Blade Flash Awakened. I think it has the same animation as original Blade Flash. But anyways, deal partially unmitigated damage and reduce defense by 50%. No, not 50%. That's a lie. I think it's 35%. 50% would be crazy. And then ice resistance for one enemy and enable Blade Flash Final, which is I think his biggest hitting move, which is right down here. Deal partially unmitigated damage to one enemy and boost their own attack. I believe that Blade Flash Final is the harder hitting move. I'll have to double check that. I can't remember for whatever reason right now. It is early. But yeah, anyway, so this is his kit. Overall, he's gonna have some interesting abilities. Essentially, the idea behind CG units and kind of going into the new meta or season 2, most of the characters that we're going to be getting now, they're going to be doing stuff. They have a turn preparation or a couple of turns that they prepare where they will then start doing crazy damage, which is like you do a move and then you unlock a new ability, and that ability is normally a lot better and used for chaining and used for finishing, like his Blade Flash Final, and I think it's Era. I think Era and Final are his finishing moves, and I think Bloom is the one that helps him kind of chain up a little bit. So depending on what you're trying to do, you're either going to be chaining with him a little bit, or you're going to be using his finishing moves. The cool thing about Lasswell as well, I believe most of his abilities are either fire or ice, or they might actually be fire and ice at the same time. So you actually don't have to wear any elemental weapons on him to take advantage of those things. You can actually put a third element on there, like let's say, you know, Excalibur, which will give him the ability to now also do, you know, ice, fire, and light. So anyways, interesting elemental character, but most of his things are just based off of ice or fire, and then some of the abilities just are flat out damage, like Final Flash and some of these other ones. Final Flash, yes, Vegeta's here. Hey Vegeta, I didn't know you were here. You're using Final Flash. So yeah, overall as a unit for global, just by looking at his 3 upgraded abilities, he looks like he's getting the love that he deserves for the global version. I anticipate him to be, you know, holding his rankings for a little while. He's not going to sit there and be the best unit forever. You can probably get him into the thousands with his upgrades. We have to see if he had any upgrades to his passives, which is going to see, is he going to boost in him holding a katana or a sword or a great sword. If that is also the case, then you can definitely break the thousands with him fairly easily. In the meantime, as a new player who probably just got him and what you got, you're probably gonna, you know, hover just around or under 1,000 till you get some of the better items that kind of boost all those other abilities like Greatsword Mastery or Katana Mastery. So overall, good unit. All right, very good unit. Not very good. I'll say good. Good unit. Okay. He's a good unit for now. Looking at the next guy here is going to be the other 5-star that's sharing the banner here with Lassworm. So with Lassworm, if you guys haven't completed the story yet or are not caught up there to Season 2, you guys will understand what Lassworm is once you get there. But Lassworm and our boy Jiraiya here, who looks absolutely insane. I absolutely love the ideas of ninjas and samurais. I'm a huge fan. He looks exactly when I think like ninja. Like I was always like, oh, Miyuki is like my go-to ninja looking character, but then now you have Jiraiya. Jiraiya absolutely looks incredible. And that's kind of where everything stops. Looking at his trust mastery here, he's got one called the Clan Master's Headband, which I'm assuming one of his boys got killed, or his master or whatever, and then he's sad about it, so he took his headband because it's an accessory, which means this guy carries this in his hand, not over his head as where it belongs, but he carries it to remind himself of the savage things that people did to his master. So he gets a defense boost by 12 because of this. He also is enraged and gets an attack of 30%, and he's feeling a little bit like a fairy and he wants to cast magic, and he can also get increased magic by 30%. While this, he's also very focused. He enables evade and also dual blade technique. So evade gives you a chance of evading physical attacks. I'm going to assume because it's evade, it's 25% based on the actual move. I think evade is 25%. Jeez, Vortie, you're on to it today. So if you get a chance to evade, and then you also get a dual blade technique, which lets you equip 2 of any one-handed katanas, which is going to be pretty interesting. So I mean, like right now we don't really have a lot of good katanas. We have one fire elemental katana, and then we have like one of those like yeah, you know, if you were there for the Nair banner, you can get the fire katana for, I believe it's Homao. He gives you 130 attack fire, and if you were there for the Nair, you get the 130 attack with the flat damage. So those wouldn't be too bad on him. But again, I don't know where and when you're gonna want to dual wield the same weapon because of how we have stuff like, you know, that boosts your damage when you wear like a sword or a great sword, and most of those things don't stack. So you can wear one katana enhancement on him, and then you get your flat 50%. That's it. But if he can wear swords, which I'm sure he can. He wears swords, throwing weapons, and freaking katanas. So put on a sword on him, and then you can use something like White Knight's Soul, or whatever it is that we're just getting right now from the current banner if you got Rayjack. And boom, you can get an increase of 40% attack because he's wearing a sword. So at this point, I don't think you're going to be dual wielding katanas with him if you're trying to get his damage up. So that's going to be kind of useless in the meantime. But definitely the attack and magic, 30% is really good. And the chance of evade is also very, very good. If you want to kind of compare this, you're looking at Ring of the Lucii, which is also attack and magic 30%. Ring of the Lucii gives you access to some abilities, whereas this one will just give you access to chance of evading plus equipping weapons. So it's very similar in the sense as far as an item. If you have this and a Ring of Lucii, you're going to get a little bit more evasion, which is going to be pretty good for evading. So looking at his stats, nothing special except his MP. You can notice that his magic is a little bit high for a physical attacker, but he's marketed as a mage. Right? Like, I don't understand. Like, this guy appears marketed as a physical attacker. This guy's mage, like physical attacker, defender, and a support. So, like, this is very interesting for me that they decided to kind of have him as a mage, I believe. Unless I'm crazy. But, like, yeah, he's got this freaking mage thing. Looking at his abilities here, you got Kuji Seal. So essentially, you get to cast these different kinds of seals. I don't know if you're like into Naruto or any of those ninja kind of shows, like you get to cast magic, right? Ninjas. So boost own attack and magic. Caster can dodge some physical attacks 3 times and enable a move called Purgatory. Fire Slash and Thunder Strike stands for 2 turns. So Purgatory, Fire Slash, fire damage and reduce fire resistance for 1 enemy. Thunder Strike, chance of, sorry, not chance, but lightning damage and reduces lightning resistance for all enemies. This is very interesting. The kit that he normally has on the JP version, he's pretty much a debuffer that I would assume, like debuffer. Essentially what he's doing is, let's say that you are going to be doing a lot of fire damage or lightning damage or whatever, and you need a strong imperil. He is going to have a little bit of a better imperil. I think when he gets his enhancements, his imperils become even more legendary, allowing you to kind of bring this dude who can imperil your enemies for you, and then you can hit him with your hard hitters. It's good and bad, considering that most of the big hitters also have good imperils in their kits, and also it frees up a slot to bring another chainer along with those big hitters to kind of help you fulfill that. So his role and where I see him is going to be very rare. I'm not saying you won't be able to use him, but as you get better, it's better to bring an additional Orlandu than to bring a guy who's going to reduce the resistance for the move that you can cast when Orlandu already has an imperil in the move he uses. So where I see him, I don't know. I don't think he's going to last there for a very long time. It looks like a very good character. I don't think he's going to be worth the time. His Trust Mastery currently is probably the best thing about him, but I wouldn't wail out on him to get it, especially if you have Ring of the Lucii. If you have 2 Ring of the Lucii, then this unit is pretty much useless to you. Okay, looking at the princess on a Chocobo. The She's a Chocobo rider. So yeah, so this guy's a ninja. What did it say up here? He's a knight. Yeah, knight, ninja. Chocobo rider here. Looking at her stats, 176 attack, pretty high, but I can tell you right now off the bat, her limitations in weapons is gonna be doo-doo. Most Chocobo riders either use like stupid things like spears, which we don't really have a lot on unless you're lucky and you got yourself some of the Dragoon characters that are 5 stars, like Duke, that increase your attack by 40% if you have a spear. So if you have that, then you know what, you can utilize it on this unit, but this unit is not going to be worth your time. It is a 4-star unit going to 6-star. The Trust Mastery is called Samurai Princess's Armor. Defense 50, Spirit 32, boost Fire, Lightning, and Dark Resistance by 25%. If you do get this unit, I don't see any reason for you to ever farm this unless your tank is lacking some sort of armor. Okay, the way I would farm this unit is that just over time, you'll get plenty of her because she's not a limited time unit, and just feed her into herself till you get the Trust Mastery, and when you do, voila, you got yourself a really good Trust Mastery. And that's the only case I would ever consider it a really good Trust Mastery. Like, unless you're really struggling, then I would toss this lady in for your Trust Mastery farming group so that you can get it. But there's better mediocre armors you can probably get now during the game, or you should already have unless you're new, so I wouldn't have to worry about that too much. Looking at her abilities, Halberd Dance, so she uses her giant ass spear to do some stuff, deal partially unmitigated damage to one enemy, pretty cool. Phoenix Thrust, fire damage and reduce fire resistance for all enemies. This is a Fire and Peril move. It looks very similar to that other 5-star base Chocobo rider we have. I can't remember his name because I didn't get him, and I'm pretty sad about that. And then Princess of Power. Damage one enemy and boost on attack for the caster. I didn't look at this girl's kit in the JP version to see exactly what she's going to be doing, but based on some of the reviews I read and watched, not even going to be worth it. She does look really cool on her Chocobo, and if I do get her, I'm going to be very happy for the fact of just having at least one of her, but I know over time she's a 4-star. I will get her eventually, and literally for collectability, and then maybe a chance to get that Trust Mastery one day. Alright, now one of the other units I absolutely love the look of. Here we are on Oga. Oga is a samurai, very high attack because he naturally gets a boost in his katana wielding abilities, which is fantastic because that's the way it should be. That's exactly what the princess on the Chocobo should have. She should have a natural kit in there that increases her spear damage by like 60 or 75% to make her viable as an attacker, which she's not gonna be. But here we go, Jiraiya. Jiraiya is considered to be a tank. He's got good hit points, very low defense, very low MP, very low spirit for a tank. And the reason why I'm saying that is a tank probably is going to be provoking every other turn, and then between the turns when he's provoking, he's going to have to do something to make himself worthwhile. For example, you're looking at Warrior of Light. He's got a good MP pool, because he is not only provoking using his golem, but on his off turns, he's probably either doing a full break or utilizing one of his other break abilities or enhancing depending why you brought him there. So he's got other concerns. So our boy here doesn't have a lot of MP to do that. Looking at his Trust Mastery, attack 30%, defense 10, hit points 10. Overall, looking from a generic perspective, this is a very good Trust Mastery. However, we do get a lot of different Trust Masteries that have more things to give, but it's a well-rounded Trust Mastery. This is a kind of a Trust Mastery that you want to put on a unit kind of like Oga. A unit who will be doing damage, but also has a chance to tank. And you don't want them to just flop over and die because their defense and their hit points is low. Granted, if 10% defense and 10% hit points is gonna be the winning or losing factor in your fights when you're fighting trials and stuff like that, you might want to rethink your strategy, because if you're losing or winning based off of that stuff, then it's I mean, a win is a win, okay? Don't get me wrong, but you should probably reconsider your strategy a little bit to see exactly what you need to try. Maybe you need more support, right? So okay, it's okay Trust Mastery. Looking at his abilities, he's got Carnage Howl. He howls with fear, some roar ding, and then he's like rawr, and then he boosts his own defense and spirit and temporarily increases the chance of being targeted. Very cool. I'm curious to see exactly what the chances are here. I'm gonna assume right off the bat that it's probably 50%, between 50 and 70%, so we'll have to see exactly what that's at, which is not that bad. Surging Wave, chance of dealing unmitigated damage and reducing attack for all enemies when receiving a physical attack. So this is where his skills shine. He's got a counter, so he will counter with this ability called Surging Wave. And when he does the surging wave, he will also reduce everybody's attack, which is really cool. I love counter attacks that when a unit counters, they do something crazy. Like, for example, I was fortunate enough to get my hands on Christine, which is the first holiday character I've ever gotten. And her counter ability is very cool. She imperils the unit, reducing their ice resistance by 74%. Are you serious, homie? I love that because her abilities are all ice. So she does this imperil that makes the fight go in her favor. This is the kind of thing you're getting from Surge Wave. Is reducing their attack, which is going to make him take more damage. So him as a tank is going to survive longer, putting the countering reason in his favor. I love it. Free and easy is the next ability. Chance of dealing unmitigated damage and reducing magic for all enemies when receiving a magic attack. So same thing, you get another thing. If he gets magic on himself, he will do unmitigated damage and he'll reduce their magic, making himself a bigger bad boy than he already is. He absolutely looks cool. I love it. To me, I think when I did my reviews on this similar banner on the JP version, I switched the names between our boy Jiraiya here and Oga, and the reason why I switched those names is because if you guys watched the Naruto, the name Jiraiya is far more fitting for this guy. The little shines on the bottoms of his feet here makes him look like the King Toad Jiraiya, the dude that can turn into like well, it depends on how you watch. The guy that can summon the giant toad, okay? He looks like Jiraiya. His hat that he has and all that stuff. Like when I look at him, I could see this like in a Naruto fighting game as a costume or a skin for Jiraiya. So I call this guy Jiraiya originally, but I would still call him. He still looks like Jiraiya. I absolutely love the way he looks. Very, very cool. Again, overall, an interesting unit. He's kind of similar to what I would put him in the category close to what Snow is. Just Snow's countering of capabilities are a little bit more interesting, where he's just pure counters and he can counter a lot. Whereas this guy will probably counter a little bit less, but he will also have additional effects like breaking attack or breaking magic based on the type of counter gets triggered, whether it's Surging Wave or Free and Easy. Alright, now the interesting unit, Otrigiri. Otrigiri is a very cool unit. She is a slave maker, or sorry, slave. Wow, Vortie. A salve maker, which is like making potions. It's like another word of saying potions. MP is very high, good. Everything else is doo-doo. Even her hit points were very doo-doo. But she is a 3-star going to 5-star, so it's as expected. Trust Mastery is called Doctor's Garment. Defense 32, Spirit 38. Enables Pharmacology. Pharmacology boosts potency of healing items used in battle. Very cool. I don't see the need of this right now. There are some trials where you do use a lot more items, and then having that this item or this Trust Mastery dedicated to a unit that will be casting items on your units is a lot of process to think through and be like, you dedicate one unit to cast items, which is kind of weird because depending on where the fight is going, you're not gonna be able to keep the unit alive, right? Like maybe you will, maybe you won't, but it's such a niche item that it's so hard to kind of worry about it. Is it cool? Absolutely, because in some fights you do use a lot of items, and having the effect increased is just awesome, right? But again, very niche. So she is supposed to be a support, in my opinion. So she's got a few abilities here. Recipe for Exhaustion, reduce attack, defense, magic, and spirit, and a chance of poisoning, blinding, or paralyzing all enemies. Very cool. Boost potency of healing items used in battle. She has this in her kit naturally, so if you do wear her Trust Mastery on her, it'll actually increase because the ability actually stacks. She's got Residence of the Dark, boost MP by 10% and chance of evading physical attacks, which is pretty cool, which is kind of neat for a pharmacology or like a doctor. Very evasive. But she's got some interesting other abilities in there. If I remember correctly from the JP version, I actually leveled her up and used her a bit, and because I couldn't understand the abilities, because I only understand a little bit of kanji from what I learned in school, so I had no idea what's going on. But from the looks of it, she could actually cast like certain abilities where they have either positive or negative effects, which is very interesting. So I'm wondering now when she comes here to global that I can actually start to understand that and see if that is the case, because if that is the case, yeah, she's going to be a very interesting chance character where she either buffs her units or she kind of hurts them, which is kind of wonky. But again, I didn't look at it to see if it was translated yet or not. It was just from when I used her, and then I never used her again. I think I used her twice, once for like a trial, and I'm like, she's supposed to buff, and then she did something, and again, it could be my misunderstanding, but that's kind of what's going on. Looking at the last character here is Miyuki. We're not gonna talk too much about her. She is a ninja. Trust Mastery used to be one of the best Trust Masteries in the game back when it started. If you're a new character, if you're a new person to the game, this is still one of the best katanas for you to get. If you pull her and you haven't gotten someone like Horomaru or whatever the other guy, the samurai dressed in red, if you haven't gotten him, his katana right now is 130, which is fire. Her is Sakura Fubuki, which is just 98 attack flat, nothing else on it. So if you're looking for a non-elemental katana, this is going to be the person. Her abilities are based mostly off of magic. She does a bunch of different abilities, but her 6-star is what they're focusing on here. She will learn at least 3 new abilities that they're providing here. Thunder Split, lightning damage to one enemy. She gets Twin Edges, which is a chance for her to equip one-handed short sword, which is a dagger, katana, or throwing item. So it's up to you. Actually, no, short sword, dagger? Whatever. She can equip, she can dual wield now in her kit based off only these items. Again, not going to be useful for you. I would probably never use her other than her Trust Mastery. She does a lot of elements. She has a few chaining abilities, but again, is nothing that you should be wasting your resources in thinking that she's going to carry you through the content of the game. I would just avoid her altogether, except for her Trust Mastery, as I said. Overall, what do I think of the banner? The same thing I said at the beginning. It's a troll banner. This is going to be a waste of your lapis. It is going to eat everything up. You might be pulling for Lasswell and you get yourself a Jiraiya. He's not good enough to be comparable to pull for as you would be pulling for Lasswell. As far as everything else, you want to try and go for Oga. Oh, that's too bad. You're not going to get Oga because you might get Katie, or sorry, the princess on the Chocobo, or Otrigiri instead of Miyuki. Like, it's going to be a very messy banner. If you have the itch to pull, do a couple of tickets. Say like, look, I'm going to do 10 tickets and that's it. Or be like, look, I'm going to do 5,000 lapis pull and X tickets and that's it. And do it like that. If you don't get them, you don't get them. Just call it quits, because this is a sync banner. Understand how difficult it is to get a 5-star unit on a banner that has only 1 5-star, and then think about it with 2 5-stars. But not only 2 5-stars, think about units because they have multiple 4-stars. There's a less likely chance that your gold crystal will break into a rainbow crystal because it has a higher chance that it's going to be one of the 2 gold units or 4-star units on the banner, right? You have a higher chance of getting a 5-star base unit if there was only a 1 4-star base unit. So if they had 1 4-star base unit, you would have a higher chance of getting one of the 2 5-star base units, because it'll increase your chance of it breaking. Right? It's just my personal math and my personal statistics, how I've done it. That's just the way it is. I'm sure you guys have other ways of calculating it. I'm sure there's more math out there, but I'm telling you guys, this is the way that I look at it. If there's multiples of the same unit, you're gonna be you're gonna have bad luck. It's just the way it is. Alright guys, so that's the banner. Also, a quick look at here, they're going to be introducing the new story, which is the Lassworm CG. So essentially what this thing here is you pick Lasswell and you just fight a Cactuar. You'll just use these moves. So you just complete it, you'll get a summoning ticket. Complete the quest, you'll get another 100 lapis. Use a limit burst, you will get another summoning ticket. Use Blade Flash Final, you will get the pot. Deal fire damage, you will get an elixir. It costs 1 energy. If I remember correctly, either 1 energy or 10 energy. It's very, very cheap. The first time I always run these on the JP version, I run in there, I use a limit burst by any other unit except Lasswell. I use Lasswell's Final Flash to get all the moves, and then if I'm really curious to see what his limit burst looks like, I will go back in there and do it again using his limit burst. You jump into the fight and all your units have their limit burst. So if you want to complete it all in one go, you can do it that way, or break it apart however you want. It's not very expensive to do, and this is a chance for them to kind of show you these new CG units to kind of get you hyped up to pull. But please don't feel too hyped, you're gonna waste your time on it. Next tier character doings, if you need character doings, that's gonna be coming around. Probably if you pull Lasswell or something, then you're gonna probably want that. The other thing here is, which is, I don't know why it's not showing up on my feed, so I'm not getting it here for whatever reason, but there is going to be a story. Why can't I see it? Anyways, there's going to be a story. The story is going to be the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius introduction of the new characters that we see, which is going to be Olga, Jiraiya, and all that stuff, as well as Lasswell, I believe, is a part of that one as well. So we're going to get the introduction of all those characters. The good news about that is that's the best place for you to farm your crits. Finish the stories, complete it, and then farm the last stage for your crits, or maybe the earlier stages if you need some of the weaker crits. You're gonna get a better return than if you went into the vortex and then you did, what do you call it, the Chamber of Gems. You're gonna get way better rewards and a chance for higher gems that don't even drop in the Chamber of Gems. So make sure you go and do those to farm up so you can enhance your Aileen, your Ramza, your future units as well. I'm definitely looking forward to it because I do need to be able to enhance my second Orlando, and I want to make sure that I can enhance both of my Aileens once the enhancement does come out, probably next week sometime. It's not coming out yet. So that's pretty much what's going on, guys. The other thing here is, if you haven't noticed already, I was able to pull Rayjack. If you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you hit me up on Twitter. I do post pictures like that if I'm like outside somewhere or in the morning and I pull and I get a rainbow. I will post my luck on Twitter because I don't have time to make a video for it. I will just post it on there. As you can see here, I do have Rayjack and I do have Christine from the previous banner here. Overall, he's a very lackluster unit just between me and you guys. This is the items I got on him is at 792 attack. Obviously I can pump him up a little bit more and get him to about 1,000, but he's just not a good enough unit for me to say like, yeah, go pull for him hard or whatever. But that banner is pretty much over. So that's my luck. I also got Fenrir, which I haven't leveled up yet, or haven't picked this path yet, but that's gonna be that. Guys, let me know how you feel about Lassworm on the banner. Let me know what you think about that troll banner. Do you think it is a troll banner? Are they trying to steal your Lapis before the introduction of the next big bad boy Sephiroth, which is probably going to be coming sometime in February? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, I do apologize for the fact of not having my camera and my other stuff here. I am in the process of a move. It's going to be about a week long or so because I'm moving a lot of stuff into another house. I'm dealing with a lot of things, but I will try to be on here to make at least 1 or 2 videos in the next little while, especially when the event comes out and all that stuff. I will make sure that some videos are out here, so don't worry. Things are still coming, and that's why this video is a lot longer. I figured I'll do 1 long video. That's gonna give me a couple of days to try and get my stuff together so that I can move. And once I move, the internet is up and going, more videos, and hopefully by then we're gonna have a new setup with green screen, lights, and actions and stuff like that. And then at that point, I'm going to be starting to stream. So look forward to that, guys. And let me know in the comment section below how hyped you are for the step-up system, which is going to be coming out sometime soon in the future. That's right. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. This is Vortie, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.